Hello everybody, my name is Pravus and welcome to Secret Government, the game where you are the puppet master and the world bows before you. Actually, as of a couple of days ago, this game is now fully released, huzzah! So a big thank you to One C Entertainment for sponsoring today's video and getting me the early access so I can show this off for you guys. Of course, you can find a link in the description down below if this interests you. Now, a couple of days ago we played with the Glorious Revolution mission, which is kind of like the tutorial. We played with some of the early sections of the game and explored what has changed since this game first went into early access. And mainly we spotlighted on government infiltration, all the different offices that give you lots and lots of abilities, right? Now we're going to take the lessons that we've learned about consolidating our power and we're going to take that into the second mission, the New World. It is 1775 and the North American British colonies are agitating for liberty. Do we want to help them or crush them? You know, as fun as it would be to go for an alternate history path, I think we are going to help them along, because I kind of like the idea of delegitimizing the formation of my own home country. Because of what? The Freemasons? I mean, some people actually do believe that. For centuries, the Brotherhood has stood behind rulers, guiding their policies. Now we are leaning over the cradle of the American nation. Your Brotherhood needs to help the new nation on the path to independence. Every choice you make will determine how this path will be traversed, and it is you who will have to deal with the consequences. Or, you know, the ignorant masses. Could be them too. Okay, get to work, brothers. A new country will appear on this continent. We will make sure that the Proclamation of Freedom and Independence has hit the whole world. Colonists are complaining about the situation, but only a few want actual change because they are too closely connected with England. All right? We will make them take against the metropolis and acknowledge themselves as a separate nation. Which way do you recommend? Now some different options will be presented before us. We have to choose carefully here because depending on which we select, that will determine our initial missions for the game. So we can make London draw more resources from the colonies, we can spark unrest and then have England send the troops, which might backfire, or we can try to discredit the loyalists. I think we're going to go for the tax route, again because it's somewhat historically based, and also because, as an American, I can confirm, it is written into our blood, we just hate taxes. I mean, lo and behold, actually just as of a few days, the day this game released, I had to do taxes myself, because I own a business, and it sucks really bad. So we are going to have London increase the taxes on the colonies, and make them rise up that way. Now, fun fact about this particular scenario, and actually anything in the 1775 map, we are not limited only to Europe, we actually have access to all of North America and its colonies. We have the British colonies along the eastern coast, we have some Indian reserves, Quebec, we have Louisiana, the Spanish colonies, and so on. A lot more to look at, also a lot more to control. So it gets a little bit complicated in that way. We do have one brother currently set up here in New York, and I think the first thing we'll do is go ahead and assign some neophytes, because we do need some local support. We also have lodges in both England and France, which means if we can infiltrate these pretty robustly, we'll be able to start generating a lot more passive income. And what I really want to do is get as much power out of England and France as possible so I can divert that to the colonies, because there's a lot to do over here, and it's going to take a lot of power. So, starting in England and France, again, let's go ahead and get ourselves some neophytes, because that's going to be important. We did start off with a few people that are in a position of power. We have the treasurers and commanders, head of the underworld, and magnates in both France and in England. So over here, we are going to be exploiting our position. Though before we do that, let's make sure that we are setting a secrecy rating so that once we get below 65 secrecy, they automatically stop, so we don't expose ourselves too quickly. And then with these guys, we'll hide some signs of activity. Though, do be aware, I think some things got rebalanced, because now we are playing on the final version of the game, not the preview build that I had last time around. And I think some things got rebalanced, including hide signs of activity, not quite as impactful as before, so we'll have to make sure we use our brothers to hide activity manually sometimes if things get out of control. Just something else that we need to pay attention to. Let's go ahead and exploit these positions. Again, though, that's why secrecy and stuff becomes extra important. You do not want to have these guys get exposed, because they then become practically useless to you. Alright, so what I'm going to do right now is just go ahead and start gathering up some neophytes. We can see a few things are happening in the background. Looks like some people are entering into alliances. They are entering into trade agreements, which makes sense. Some people are raising taxes, okay. And we do have an objective that we need to run. But first, let's get these neophytes set up and perhaps get a few more. I do want to have more neophytes and masters down in the colonies, because having more than one master is going to be important. So we have 3 open positions. So once we find ourselves some good neophytes, preferably who are really good at persuading people, then I'm pretty sure we're going to want to make them into masters. This guy's a philosopher in England. He'll do just fine. Let's go ahead and put him into a position. Philosopher is a very good role because you get a 25% boost to recruiting people, which obviously I like. Let's get these going. And now let's take a look at what we are supposed to do in our first particular mission. We need to increase the taxes in 3 of the English colonies by 10% for the 2 estates paying the most taxes. So we'll come back to that as soon as I feel like I have some more power, but basically we need to get the tax minister on our side. He is the only person who can raise taxes on industry or on specific demographics of the population, specific estates. So we do want to do that. England and Denmark just became allies. Okay. Well, that could be good, I suppose. Let's collect some information on this guy, see what he can do. You're going to get me some power. So now we should be passively generating all 3 resources slowly in New York, which will make things easier. England is allying with a lot of their colonies, which makes sense, I suppose. Basically, that means, though, that all the colonies and England will join together if they do get attacked in some sort of a war, let's say by the tribal governments of North America. So, yeah, we're gonna get that in position. Let's go ahead and explore who the advisor is. I need to get a lot more influence, because right now that's my lowest level of infiltration, kind of across the board. Get some more neophytes set up along over there, and some more wealth, and so on. Okay. All right. So, we should have learned who the tax minister is. Can we persuade you to join me? Yes, by intimidating you, because I am a freak, which gives me a really good intimidation chance, apparently. Also, I think this guy might be a bit of a coward. So, we can get the tax minister on our side, and I don't care if he's joining me happily or willingly. As long as he ultimately does join me, that's all that really matters. So, we'll use him to manipulate some tax rates in just a little bit. Up over here, we do want to try and recruit. 100% persuasion chance is fantastic. Let's try to get the cardinal on our side as well. 67% chance, I can certainly accept that. Let's collect some more information over here, and we do need another neophyte in France providing power. And the power, I think, is necessary for these guys to run some of these positions and such. So we are trying to burn down some of the awareness, but it's not doing as much. Notice that we really are not keeping this down low, not easily anyway. So pay attention to that. Don't just walk away and let it be a thing. 57% chance we can just bribe some officials in France. Yeah, I'll take that. So were you able to get this guy on our side? Oh, look, you were. Okay, so now that we have a tax minister, let's take a look at how we would manipulate the tax rates. We're going to go to the economy over here. And from here, by the way, you can see the revenue and the treasury of the states. You can also go into things like the farmable land, learn what kind of natural resources are being produced, and then work through, let's say, what kind of processing plants they can go into. Let's say a creative workshop and stuff, so that they become art, which is an art object for the luxury people, etc. Right? You can do all of that and manipulate those. But what we care about right now are estates. So we're going to go to the economy. We're going to go to estates. And we're going to take a look at these over here. Specifically, I want to sort by tax revenues. It looks like the capitalists and the aristocrats are the 2 estates that are currently getting me the most money. So we know from our mission that we want to raise the taxes on those 2 estates specifically. So let's go to you. Now, before I do this, one thing to note is that the government can direct your adepts to fulfill their job in some particular order. For example, let's suppose that the ruler of the New York government came over and said, hey, lower the taxes on the capitalists after I had just risen the taxes. That would be rather annoying, right? So we're going to go to government here, and we can run something called Sabotage. And what this basically means is we're going to defy our orders if we get anything. Now, the difference between slight sabotage and regular sabotage is like just outright I refuse forever, but I might get fired from my post because, I mean, obviously I'm being disruptive. Or slight sabotage, which is the same thing, but as soon as it looks like I'm going to get fired, we pull back. So we're going to set you to slight sabotage over here, and we're just going to leave that on. That's going to be your default mission. In the meantime, though, let's increase the taxes on, I guess we can start with the aristocrats. Sure, that's fine. Oh, we need some power, though, before we can do that. So first, then, we have to come to this brother, and we have to transfer some resources, wealth, from the bank and into New York. So now we have enough local resources we can work with. And adepts require local resources to do jobs. Brothers require global resources, right? I think that's the distinction. Anyway, so raising taxes, you already have a 25% income tax rate. I could increase you to 30, but that's only a 5% boost. So we're going to increase you up to 40 in order to make sure that we fulfill our mission, even if it is a little bit of overkill. So he's going to raise this up. It's only going to take a good couple of days. And by the way, depending on what the governments are doing of each of these colonies, they may already have risen some taxes on, let's say, the capitalists and the aristocrats, in which case we're going to find that, hey, we actually are going to earn this mission a little bit early. Could be. Let's get some global influence here, because now we want to go and raise the taxes specifically on the capitalists. Same deal, we're going to raise that by, it looks like 15% to make sure we get our threshold. And then with the sabotage, they're not going to be lowering the taxes. So that should make things a little bit easier for me. How long until some of you guys arrive? It's going to be a bit. 14 days until some of these guys arrive in the New World. In the meantime, let's continue trying to recruit some people. 45% chance would feel pretty good, but I guess it's not enough. Know that we have lots of awareness going on here, and this is where I'm saying I think these guys are not as effective as they used to be. So pay attention. Make sure you use your brothers. It doesn't take long. It just takes a few resources. Burn that down. Do not let your guys get caught. Oh, actually, it looks like everyone just raised taxes. I had just about to be infiltrating the tax ministries of Maryland and Pennsylvania, but they raised taxes, so it happened on its own. All right, so our efforts have yielded fruit. All the colonies speak of themselves as an American nation, and they speculate whether the Americans are on the same page with England. But this is all idle talk until the colonies are ready to act. So, separated they achieve nothing. How do we get them to unite? Well, an external threat. Or we could try to have them cut off trade relations as part of the colonies, or we can try to help the Patriot Party gain some influence. I'm not sure if we can force the Native Americans to attack them. Maybe we can. Do we want to try? Let's try this one and see if that will work. So we have something called Indian raids. When Indians attack the British colonies, strengthen the garrisons of the colonies, and then increase support for the Patriot Party by an unknown percentage. Okay. Well, so garrisons are a thing. We are actually getting attacked here right now by the Cayugas. So in this New York, what we want to do is get the garrison's general in our pocket. This guy is going to be able to strengthen up the garrisons and increase their size. Looks like we're going to have to intimidate this guy. Okay, that's fine with me. I don't really mind. I'm going to continue trying to get the tax ministers going, but I'm a little disappointed I wasn't able to do that myself. Oh, well, everyone else just wants to raise taxes. Oh, man, not the right way to go, buddy. Certainly going to get you in a lot of trouble. Let's go ahead and get the garrison's general discovered for both of these colonies as well, just in case this becomes necessary, because I want to make sure that we have plenty of garrisons and we can win some of this. Now, as far as increasing the Patriot support, it didn't say how much I have to increase it. Maybe it won't show me until after I have survived enough against all of the existing raids. Maybe. This guy is now in our pocket. Let's go to official powers and increase the garrison size up to 90. I know that means we're not going to have much of an army. We're going to take a lot of our military power and we're going to turn it into a garrison. But it should make it a little bit easier for us to ward off the raids. Right now we can see that we are losing population and money because of the raids that are coming from these Native Americans. So we're going to have to deal with some of that. You go ahead and start exploiting your posts. I just need some power and stuff. Good. And then let's just continue infiltrating as much as we can. When in doubt, infiltrate. Also, keep an eye on your secrecy value. Don't let it fall apart. So, what else can we be doing right now? Well, they did say that we need to increase the support of the Patriots, right? So, there are ways to do that. We're going to have to create ourselves a new political force. And that's unfortunately going to take a load of influence. Trying to change the politics of people takes a lot of political power, it turns out. So we're going to go ahead and make sure we get as much of the influence branches of government and the institutions here under our control as possible, because I need lots of power that I can send overseas to the colonies if we're going to make this one work. I don't think we're going to be able to produce enough at home anytime soon. So let's go for some more bribery of all of this, just trying to increase this. Don't forget that we can always withdraw the power as needed using some of these guys. And I think our goal ultimately will be create a nationalist party for these colonies, I think. So let's take a look at ideology over here. Now we can see that there's a singular ideology that is more or less dominating the entirety of the eastern coast, which makes sense. It is enlightened absolutism. That is the ruling party of the British Royalists. If we want to overcome this, and there's a few things we're going to need to do to overcome it, we're going to need to start spreading our own ideology. Let's start by going here and taking a look at society and the estates. Actually, I think maybe it's under economy. We want to sort by, not contentment level. Who do we think is going to have the highest level of political influence? Well, I'd be willing to guess that it's going to be like the aristocrats or something. Why is this changing over to different groups? Oh, whatever. So not the workers, obviously. Not the dependents. Aristocrats are at 1.3 thousand. Capitalists, not so much. Just looking through the different groups and seeing if maybe somebody else has some more power, not the clergy. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to go on this brother right here, and we are going to go to estates, spread ideology, and the aristocrats have the highest level of political power. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert our own ideology along here, in this case nationalism, and spread it by creating some new pressure within this estate, right? Now, pressure is kind of like a tug of war. It's automatically going to be winning over the hearts and minds of people over time. So right now, we see that there's 2.5 thousand pressure for enlightened absolutism in New York. And they're going to start gradually siphoning away the people who don't have pressure, and everyone's going to become have one ideological system within their country. What we're doing by finishing this is we're kind of adding in some competition. You can't see it right here because nobody has actually converted to nationalism yet, but there is now behind the scenes some nationalism pressure. As soon as some people get converted, we have even 1%. You'll see what I mean. But it's getting completely overshadowed by the power of the enlightened absolutism. So, as soon as this is done, let's go ahead and get back over here to the estates. We're going to spread ideology, but this time we're going to go to the enlightened absolutism, and we're going to try to oust it, which is going to reduce it with the most powerful group, which is the aristocrats, at least a bit. So let's go ahead and start reducing this power, and I'll see if we can get this to work. I can't tell. It may be a rounding error, but it doesn't seem like it did much yet. Hang on, let's try this again. Let's go for the enlightened absolutism, oust it a bit more. Now, the only downside of this having to try to flip the ideology of a place is... Oh, yeah, it went down this time. Okay, there we go. So it was a rounding error. It is going to cost a lot. Hang on, absolutism, feudalism. No, nationalism still relatively inconsequential, it turns out. It costs a lot of influential power to do this. That's the real downside to what we're shooting for right now. So, yeah, gonna be a bit rough. Let's try to do this in a few places, but you can see how very rapidly we're gonna run out of influence across the colonies, and there's just so much pressure to overcome at the start, because the colonies are doing their darndest to stay loyal to the king and country. And I'm supposed to be trying to undermine that, but it's pretty hard. We can try to possibly undermine the authority of a political force, and by reducing authority, we can try to increase entropy, which makes it easier for this stuff to fluctuate. So hopefully we have a better fighting chance. So we're going to start by going ahead and reducing, then, the authority of the ruling party, which is the Loyalists, and see if we can start reducing that at least a bit. Now, something that is new since early access we haven't messed with yet is as these guys do level up, they can get new traits. So let's take a look at Earl Brush, for example. When we click on him, we can see that we can get a new trait. Which one do we want? Well, corrupt, a better chance at successful bribery. Of me or of other people? Military training, combat skill, or a bad reputation, there's a chance of being compromised, but it brings me some extra local power daily, which can be nice. I don't think I want to be corrupt. Military training could be okay. Bad reputation's not fantastic. We just have to be very careful about our secrecy so he does not get detected. So we're going to go for the bad reputation and go ahead and select that. There we go. I don't think anyone else currently has any level ups. Not yet. You only got up to level 2, but we are still getting experience on some of our masters, so you can imagine as we continue to level these guys up, getting some additional traits, especially things like Philosopher, could become very, very powerful. Wait, what is going on here? New York has been occupied by Naples? What is going on, Naples? Naples is occupied by Russia. They're in war against Russia and New York specifically. Naples is at war with Russia and New York. And they successfully were able to siege them down. Huh? I'm not too sure how that happened, and I'm not too sure why we didn't have the allies pop in there. Something happened in the background, and I missed it. Aw, man, that seemed like it was actually really exciting. I should have seen that. Darn it. Whoa. How did Winston Black just teleport over to Naples? What? Did Naples just eat New York? I think they did. Oh my god, Naples ate New York? Well, this complicates things in the goal of, like, getting the United States to rise up. Apparently now we have to contend with Naples, the unexpected rise of southern Italy. Okay, well, that kind of resets all my efforts, and apparently we can teleport. Ooh, Well, not what I expected. I'm kind of leaning toward I may have messed this up to the point where I can't even salvage it anymore. Let's take a look at ideologies and stuff, though. In Naples, which I actually have to go all the way to Naples to see, they have absolutism as their preferred ideology, but not enlightened absolutism. And actually, yeah, you can see that the power is just so darn strong. There's a lot of pressure building up over here in Pennsylvania. If we wanted to create ourselves a political party, what we would do is go to parties right here, then create a political force, select an ideology that does not already have representation. Enlightened absolutism in this case does. Actually, I can't even select something different. Okay, what about secrets? Can I change? Nope, I can't create a new political party yet. Okay, well, that complicates things. So that's what you would do, though. Oh, here we go. There's an example. Okay, so here we would be able to select a different ideology. For example, let's say we wanted nationalism, so we can create the Patriot Party. We'll call it Protestant to be a public party for a presidential republic, focusing on expansionism, free trade, a natural economic policy, and compromise, and so on. We can go ahead and create a political party right down over here. We're not going to be able to actually get this to fully operate before it's too late. I mean, I didn't expect Naples to come in for the clutch. Wait, why does New York... Frickin' Russia just ate it. Russia just ate Naples, too. Dude, Russia, what'd you do? All right, so now Winston has taken a vacation all the way to Russia. He was in Naples, now he's here, and now he's over here. Okay, so New York is having a very fun time right now. Wait, now why does it say Naples... Does Naples get something else I didn't notice? No, it's just still listed as Naples. It hasn't processed yet. That's fine, though. That's fine. Yeah, unexpected. Okay, New York has changed hands twice now. Yeah, there's no way that I'm going to be able to fulfill a mission here as far as actually increasing the popularity of nationalism in the Patriot Party. But wow. Okay, that's fun. Also, the party here is no longer working because I think... something may have happened with the ideologies where yes, I don't think we can actually create a party anymore. We would have to go back to estates and just keep trying to spread the ideology of nationalism. And it still says it's a representation of 0. Don't worry about this. This is not telling you, like, what it will go to when it's done. It's telling you what it is now. All you need to worry about is increasing your pressure. We may actually need to get a bunch of people over here so that we can try to, 1... push down the enlightened absolutism, and 2, increase the nationalism as much as we can. Try to build up some pressure, but I think it's kind of self-feeding itself because all the neighbors over here in the British colonies are super-duper supportive of the British monarch right now, and as a result, it looks like I'm not going to be able to make any pressure on getting the Patriot Party set up. Little unfortunate because I was hoping to do that, but, well, I mean, again, like, who expected this to happen? The game is a living, dynamic world, you know? Stuff happens, and you didn't expect it, and you better be flexible, or else things just ain't gonna work. But anyway, so that's a little bit of work, look as far as some of the estates and what you can do as far as trying to change up the tax rates and so on to try and accomplish a few missions. Again, what you could do with some places is if you go over here to, let's say, the chief treasurer, if you don't want to try to change just the taxes for the estates, you can increase or decrease their economic priorities. And the same thing can be true when it comes to various different industries and such. And this is a good way of trying to improve certain powerhouse production lines. For example, whatever's going to make the most money, let's say jewelry, make that a high priority and so on. You can meet the satisfactions of needs and so on and so forth. Lots more you can do there to try and build up the economy and start tweaking with all the different levels here. It looks like, by the way, France, oh my, France, oh France, you are not making enough money and you are burning through quite a bit. Well, that's going to be a lot of fun for you. What is going on in Russia? Russia should be losing a freaking ton of money. I don't know how they were able to support that war, but they totally did. Wow, anyway. All right, so we're going to end this video here because I do think that we are out of time. But since this all got completely messed up with Russia coming in, I think what we're going to do for the next video is instead of continuing with this the mission system here in the New World, we're going to go ahead and start up a free play game, and we're going to see if we can kind of explore our own interests without having to rely on the mission system to guide us, but kind of create our own game and create the world as we want it rather than following a story. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If so, then I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. Again, thank you to 1C Entertainment for sponsoring this video, and if you want to learn more, there will be a link in the description down below. My name is Pravus, and I will see you guys next time.